Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening. Welcome to the Common Council meeting for the City of Beech Grove. Today's date is October 6, 2025. My name is James Kaufman, Mayor. I will defer to the Clerk Treasurer.
In lieu of roll call, we'll introduce ourselves starting on my right.
Chris Duffer, Council at Large.
Dan McMillan, Council at Large.
Samantha Stratton, Clerk Treasurer.
Ryan Mackins, Council District 2.
Craig Wiley, City Attorney.
Mike Himmelgarn, Council District 3.
Avis Friesen, Council District 4.
Mike Ernest, Council 5.
Thank you. Councilwoman Lamping is not here this evening. She is sick. We'll stand up for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Before invocation, we're going to start with a moment of silence. I'd like to offer a moment of silence this evening. First, for two people from Beech Grove that passed away last month. Peggy Fitzgerald was a longtime resident who was also a dedicated employee that retired from the City of Beech Grove in 2010. Also, Beech Grove resident Jack Ellsworth Coombs. He passed away at the age of 101. Last year, Councilor Ernest and Councilor Duffer joined myself in delivering a proclamation for his 100th birthday and thanking him for his service to our nation. A true hero that will be missed. For these two individuals and for other reasons, I know there are many people in the City of Beech Grove who are hurting and feeling anxious right now. We have faced a lot recently in our country, in our state, and right here in our own community. Because of that, I want to offer an opportunity to pause for just a moment to reflect on the things that might be weighing on our hearts. I also encourage every Beech Grove resident to take time, whether here or at home, to pause and reflect. And tonight, I ask that we all lead by example as we pause for a moment of silence to reflect on those two lives while also considering the burdens and hopes that we carry together as a city. Thank you. Up next, I'd like to call up Pastor Bailey.
Evening, council members.
Good
Good
evening.
evening.
Ladies and gentlemen of the community, if you'd be so kind as to bow your head. Lord, our most loving Father in heaven, Lord, we pause in the midst of our activities, Lord, to invite you into the center of all that we do, Lord. Lord, we ask you to guide us with the wisdom from above, Lord. Lord, bless us both individually, Lord, bless us as a community, and bless us as a nation. And Lord, I say a special prayer tonight, Lord, for the first responders in the room, Lord, and those in our community, Lord, that run toward the things that cause others to run away. Lord, put a hedge of protection around them. Bring them home safely every day, Lord, and heal any wounds their hearts may carry, Lord, as they go out, risking their lives, Lord, that we might be safe. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Pastor Bailey. There are no special presentations this evening. RDC, President Matthew Kochever said that he will send a report out this week, and he is not here to report this evening. Financial, defer to the Clerk Treasurer. Clerk Treasurer Stratton.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Over the last few weeks, the mayor and I have been working closely with all of our department heads to fine-tune the city's 2026 budget. After a full review, we were able to make thoughtful adjustments that reduced the overall budget by more than $600,000 from the first draft without cutting city services. This is still a living version of the 2026 budget. The council can vote to approve it as is or make changes before it's officially adopted. The advertised published budget now reflects just a 1.92% increase from 2025 and includes a 3% cost of living adjustment for all city employees and elected officials. This budget also honors the third year of our current FOP and Local 416 union contracts, ensuring we continue to meet the commitments we've made to our employees who serve Beech Grove every day. New contracts will be negotiated next year that will begin in 2027. While 2027 could and will likely bring new challenges, this year's budget is built on what we know right now, providing stability for the city and support for the people who keep it running. Separately, there's also been some chatter that EMS has overspent their budget for this year. This is not true. Each year in the city's budget, money from the public safety tax is planned with the intent to transfer it to cover police and EMS salaries. That's how it's designed. The PST is meant to directly support public safety payroll each year. To clear up any confusion, the EMS budget has not been overspent. We're currently projected to stay within the approved $700,000 allocated from PST for EMS salaries this year. Outside of tonight's budget meeting discussions, I do not have any other updates. The bank account balances are listed below as of October 6, 2025. These totals do not include all claims that were approved earlier this evening. I've also included the city's fund balances to limit any confusion. Bank accounts, City Corporation, $6,059,563.06. Utility, $1,103,928.42. Criminal Investigation Fund, $431,736.81. RDC General Fund, $1,879,629.93. Fund accounts, General Fund, $915,756.49. Sewage Utility Fund, $184,712.64. And Stormwater Utility Fund, $538,344.01. Respectfully submitted, Samantha Stratton, Clerk Treasurer.
Thank you. Any questions or comments for the clerk treasurer? Let's see. Thank you. Up next, we have minutes from our last meeting. Common Council minutes dated September 2nd, 2025 are up for approval. Are there any questions or comments about those minutes?
Yeah, I have a few that I'd like to get taken care of.
Counselor
There's
Mackin?
just
Yep.
some misprints on there. If you want to look over here a second.
I'm pulling it up right here.
Right here's the.
I'll fix the spelling
I
then.
think of that, and then right here, there's not a lot of brought up answers.
Okay, yeah, okay.
I do stutter sometimes, but I don't know
Yeah,
if
I think
did
that's
that
just,
much.
yeah, that's typing. Yeah, got
Thank
it.
you.
Yeah, no problem.
Anything else? Motion to approve the minutes as amended by Counselor Mackin.
I make said motion.
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Public comments. Greg? Do you have those?
I don't think I got this sheet, sorry. You want to speak, Chief? You're the only one?
Thank you, Chief. So there's two, one for public comments and one for the budget. So just the public comment now, sir.
Yeah, Butch?
Butch?
I just wanted to
Coming up
propose.
here. Yep. Come on up here, sir. No, you're good. You were good at that. Thank you.
I would like to propose that the city looks into establishing at 3rd and Churchman a stop all ways. I live right there at the intersection, and from observation, if you will, I don't take a specific count, but on a lot of days, it's typically 40% of the drivers actually drive 25 or below, which they're supposed to. About another 40% are 25 to 50. Some are just not completely paying attention to the speed, and some are just generally speeding. And there's about another 20% that generally go 50 and over. There have not been a lot of accidents there, though in fact there have been some. But as I've kind of noodled this, I think that might be the best way to slow down traffic so that people who are backing out of their drives don't have to guess, okay, how fast is that person going? And the kids that cut across the street don't have to do the same thing. And I think that might be the best solution to do it.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Butch.
Thank you.
Craig, anybody else sign up for public comment?
No, Mayor.
Nope. All right, thank you. Unfinished business. We have no unfinished business from the previous meeting. Like to officially open up the public hearing for the 2026 budget. Is there anybody that signed up to speak on the budget, sir?
There is not.
But is anybody here would like to speak on the 2026 budget or salary ordinance that is being presented tonight? No. None seen? No. All right, we will close the public hearing for the 2026 budget. Up to new business. So, before we read the ordinances into the record, I'd like to quickly explain how we arrived at this point and open the floor for any questions that you might have of myself. We do have Jeff Peters here this evening to speak with you, and he will do so before we bring up EMS Director Cheshire, Chief Maurice, and the representatives from Local 416 and FOP 86. Last month we held a budget workshop and presented a draft budget that included a 3% cost of living adjustment for all employees, as we do have 2 labor agreements the city is obligated to uphold. The overall response from this workshop and the council members here was that we needed to decrease the budget to limit any use or reliance on our cash reserves. That being said, I'm excited to present the 2026 budget this evening that does just that. By working with the department heads and the clerk treasurer, we are presenting a budget that is $606,801 less than what was presented to the city council last month at your budget workshop. I applaud every department head for their help with this, as each of them presented ideas, and these reductions solidify the fact that the budget is fully funded, and so are the cost of living adjustments as presented. The city will continue to provide all the services our residents have come to appreciate and expect from those who represent them. Before I call up Jeff Peters, I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have of myself before we call people up. Any questions for me, councilors? None, see? Okay. I'd like to call up Jeff Peters, who will discuss finances and the budget itself. Thanks, sir.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, council. Appreciate the opportunity to be here. Based on our conversations that we left off last month, the summary of where you were at, we had talked about that the budget as presented operationally wise would eat about $600,000. The reductions, as the mayor's talked about, brings you in line to what our estimate is based on our fiscal plan for what we believe your revenue is in 26. It does differ from what the state has at present, and it differs for a few different reasons that we talked about last time. The state always assumes you spend all of your appropriations, which you don't do. The state also does not count if you will get a supplemental income tax distribution during the year, which you've gotten them for the last several years. We have no anticipation to, or no reasonable expectation that you won't get another one in 26. And the other difference between what we've put in the fiscal plan and what the state has assumed is the new homestead credit and circuit breaker losses based on the new legislation and your existing circuit breaker losses. We have an amount that is less than what the state has estimated. I don't know what the state's global assumptions were at that point in time, but they were done early in the summer. So it also doesn't reflect what your assessed value has done for pay 26. Since that point in time that they put out that number, your assessed value, even after these deductions that start to hit in 2026, is still up 8%, which is great growth. We've seen across the state, units of government that have had decreases to very small increases. So having an 8% here in growth rate here in Beech Grove, I think that's great. That will help to reduce some of those circuit breaker losses and homestead credit losses as you go forward. The other two assumptions that were built into the numbers that we talked about last time was that you will still continue to make your historic amounts of pilot and ROI payments from the sewer utility to the general fund. Assuming all that's still on board, the budget operationally as presented balances to your revenue for 2026. And with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions or drill down any further.
You used the word projected or something, coming into 27, because SB1 hasn't even kicked in yet. So shouldn't we be saving a little bit more all the way across the board, just in case some of these scenarios don't play out as we are hoping they will?
I don't know. And, the reason I really don't know is in 2028, as that income tax regime completely changes, under the way the law is written today, you're not going to be anywhere close to the amount of revenue that you have today. So I feel like there are changes to be made in that legislation in the 26 and 27 sessions. Because specifically for the language and the way it's written, based on distributions to municipal fire departments and your qualification as Beech Grove, I don't think anybody at the legislature thought about that as the language was written. And that's something that'll probably need to be corrected in order to get you back. That being said, yeah, I can't say that you should hold, everything. We don't want to say the sky's falling, because something is going to get changed in that legislation over the next 2 years. Hopefully it brings you to an equilibrium for the services that you want to provide. But in times of unknown things, we try and say be conservative and hang on to cash as best you can.
Thank
I know
you.
that was a long way around.
No, well, that's what I wanted to hear, yeah, thank you.
In 2026, how much of our reserves do you expect us to eat up?
None. Other than local road and street, which is not operational, it's more of a capital. So you should be able to maintain your cash. And I think we had estimated ending cash at the end of 25 at about 2.4 million. So you should be able to retain that on the general fund.
Okay, because I thought at the last meeting you were at, you said that we could eat up anywhere from 600,000 to 1.2 million.
Yes, and now that you've reduced it 600,000, that makes you even to eating 600,000 if all those things that I talked about, the difference between the state's estimates and ours, were to occur. And like I say, have every reasonable expectation that you'll get a supplemental income tax distribution in 26. I do not anticipate that you'll spend your entire budget in 26. You've never spent your entire budget. And the homestead credit losses and the circuit breaker losses, we won't know that until March and April, when they accumulate all the tax rates and apply them to the tax bills. At that point in time, we'll have a better idea as to what you're going to expect to not collect in property tax because of the circuit breakers and the homestead credits.
And on these assumptions, hopefully everything goes good, but if it don't, where does the money come from?
Comes out of your cash reserve. So when we go into 27's budget and have this conversation next year, it may be a different scenario.
So the 600,000 savings right now is just kind of a Band-Aid, it's gonna get us, we know we're okay with that, more or less, but we could do better.
Yeah, it gets you to even of what I believe the revenue projection to be in 2026. So yeah, if you were to cut more, that would add more to it. But again, you've got $2.5 million to absorb whatever that deviation is. And then you can correct anything that you need to in the 27 budget going forward, because you won't be out of cash, you'll just be depleting some of your cash.
And 27 is gonna be worse than 26.
Could be, I don't know. 28 is, like I say, the real wild card as to what everything looks like. And a lot of that data, again, we won't know until 27, because at that point in time, after July 1 and before October 1, you as a city council have to impose your own income tax rate for the city if you want. And then there are other things that the county potentially can impose income tax wise that would benefit you. But again, we won't know what they do until after July 1 of 27. Probably won't have good income tax based numbers for the city of Beech Grove until right before that. And that'll be a long legislative session. So it'll end with, I assume, a whole set of different rules and implementations for you to consider that summer. So it'll be busy.
What revenues are you projecting for 26?
All of them. Property tax, income tax,
No,
FedEx,
I
IRC,
understand that, I mean dollar value.
That I didn't measure. It's in the fiscal plan by fund, so you know it's per each bucket. And again, the 600,000 that you were eating in our last discussion was all of those operationally together. And now with the $600,000 reduction to it, that puts you even.
Thanks, Jeff.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jeff. I appreciate it. I was very excited when I spoke to him today about that 8% increase in assessed value. I think that shows that despite all the things that are happening around us, the city of Beech Grove continues to grow and expand, even though we are landlocked. The developments and the work that we're doing as a council and as a city, I think it's showing with that. We are growing and we continue to grow. Last year, I think for this year, it went up 7%. So for it to go up 8% in 26, I think that speaks to the work that we're doing here. That includes you as well. So that was good news, and I was excited to hear that today. Next, I'd like to call up EMS Director Rob Cheshire. As the clerk treasurer alluded to earlier, there have been questions about this year's budget and the transfer that we make each and every year from the public safety tax to the general side for both the EMS and for the police department. So I'll call up Rob to talk about that. Any questions outside of the labor contract, which can be addressed to Local 416 representation, who is here this evening as well. But Rob, you want to come on up? You have any questions for Rob?
Good evening, Mayor and Council.
Good
First off,
evening.
I'd like to thank the mayor and the clerk treasurer for working on 2026 budget. I know it hasn't been easy on them. They've been very diligent and performed excellent communication with the department heads, talk about where we can cut and what we can do to help solidify our budget. And their help was greatly appreciated this year, so thank you. Any questions for 2025?
Are we still running the runs into Indianapolis as much as we have been?
Yes, we still run in Annapolis
Well,
like we
thank you.
always have been, and provide mutual aid for them, and they provide mutual aid for us also.
But yet we pay them almost $4 million for one fire engine.
The
I know it's
fire
a totally different,
department's
I know, totally different
separate.
thing, but yeah.
What percentage of runs are to Indianapolis?
Dan, I don't have that in front of me. Any questions, like I said at the workshop, if you guys had any questions, please feel free to email, call, text. I'm available. If you had these questions in between, I wish you would give me a heads up. I would have brought that information to you, had it on hand, but I don't. Avis, I greatly appreciate you coming down, talking to Local 416, our members. They enjoyed your visit and was so glad that you were able to come down, see the apparatus, see the personnel, and get a little glimpse on what they do in the evenings.
Yeah, it made me appreciate it even more.
Thank you.
Any other questions for Rob?
Thank you. Mayor.
Thank you.
Thank you. And I just want to echo Avis as well. I went on my first ride along with the EMS a couple weeks ago now, and it was definitely eye-opening to see what they do each and every day. So I applaud them in the work that they do. They're very professional and they take good care of people. So that's what we want. So and Council Underground, when they go outside of the city of Beech Grove, we do bill accordingly for that. So they are paying for that service. And that comes part of the close to $2 million in revenues that the general fund account sees from ambulance revenues each and every year. So if that were to stop, the revenues to fund the department would stop as well. So because that is bringing in money. So we do bill accordingly every time they go out, whether it's Beech Grove or outside of Beech Grove, we do bill for that service. So
they won't be needing no more monies in for the rest of the year? Because everything's been billed accordingly and came in on time and such?
So from the public safety, we still have to do that transfer that you guys approved from the budget last year. Is that what you're asking about, or additional on top of that?
Additional on top of that?
So no, not additional on top of that. Nope. From the projections that we see, I think it is a well-funded budget that was approved last year. And when we present that transfer from the public safety to the general fund to allow us to pay our employees, there should be
When will
plenty.
that transfer take?
I'm sorry?
When does that happen?
We'll have to present it to the council for your final approval later this year. So it's not tonight or the 20th, so probably that first meeting in November is my guess.
And that figure should be around where, you say? 7?
It's $700,000, and that's for both police and for EMS. Each.
Yeah, just to clarify, yeah.
And then also I think 140, I believe, for police overtime as well, to move from the public safety over to the general fund so we can pay our employees. So that's typical. We did that last year. I did that all 4 years when I was clerk treasurer, and I believe Councilor McMillan did that when he was clerk treasurer each year, correct?
Not that dollar amount.
No, okay, fair
We
enough.
did it.
But the transfer each year, it was
Yes,
just.
we did
It's a
transfers.
technicality, right? It's just an internal transfer
Absolutely.
that we rely on the council to approve. And that's what you did as well, correct? And that's how we budgeted it.
That is
Okay.
correct.
I just want to make sure we're all on the same page, so. Okay. Any other questions? I'd like to call up local 416. You guys want to come up and answer any questions? I know there are questions about the labor agreements, and then anything else that you might have.
Good evening, counselors.
Good evening.
How are you guys this evening?
Wonderful.
All right, we all know how much I love public speaking, so let's get this show on the road, am I right?
Absolutely.
I have the member of the executive board here with me this evening, and I'm also able to answer any questions that you have. I want to second Chief Cheshire's statement with thanking the mayor and councilor, or city treasurer Stratton with being so helpful with finding deficits within the budget and working with us, and we want to continue that relationship, but we are able to answer any questions you guys have for us at this time.
Any questions? No questions? Okay. Thank you. All right, stick around, there might be one. All right, thank you. Up next, I'd like to call up Chief Maurice to discuss the budget that we have presented for the police department. And then if there's any questions about category ones, we can call up FOP 86 and Officer Frankel for any questions that you might have there. But Chief?
Council,
Good evening, Chief.
as Mr. Peters said, the 2026 budget is fully funded. We made more cuts to make sure you didn't have to touch your cash reserves. And even after this budget, if the projections are correct, you'll still have $2.5 million in your bank accounts. So I feel good about the budget the way it is. It fulfills the contract, and we can still operate the police department on the operating side of the budget. I don't know if there's anything else you want me to say, or do you have any questions?
Keep up the good work. No, we love our police, believe me. We have nothing bad about our police, so
And
Appreciate it.
by no means.
I appreciate you guys,
Absolutely.
doing what you did as far as.
You go into
funding
the
all of
unknown
these.
every time you receive a call, so you can't put a dollar figure on what you guys do, so.
Appreciate it.
Yeah,
All the cuts you made.
absolutely, yeah,
It was wonderful.
exactly that as well, too. Very good work.
I would also like to point out, has nothing to do with the budget, but while I'm up here at the mic, it's kind of my time. So we held the 25th annual Bill Tony Memorial last Saturday, and the surrounding community and the people came together to raise a little over $120,000 for bullet-resistant windshields for our officers, which is absolutely crazy for a small community. But it was awesome, and it was a great time, and it was a celebration for a lot that came together this year in closing a lot of chapters for the Tony family. Of course, I want to thank the FOP for their support through all of that. They were instrumental in it and giving us lots of support. There's not a playbook on how to handle that situation with an officer being killed and then the sentence being carried out. And so they were instrumental in supporting us in that. So I want to thank the community. I want to thank the people that help us put that together. The other thing I want to point out to the council, and then I'll be done, is, you know, you ask us to do certain things, and we came up with answers. One of those, you know, we have an officer at the DEA to help with combating drugs. We have an officer that's assigned to Metro Drug Task Force that's used to help fight drugs. And then we also have, last year, when you were asking what we were going to do about our gun violence, our shootings, what we were going to do. And we found a solution. We have an officer assigned to the Indiana Crime Gun Task Force. All of that is a service that we help provide to the citizens to help find solutions. We are a small department, but we make sure that those entities are manned. There's not a lot of departments that are in CJIC. There's IMPD has the most with state police and Fishers and us and Plainfield, and it's a good partnership. And when we call, they come run, and they've solved a lot of our crimes, and a lot of our gun, our shootings have tied back to Indianapolis. And so our officers are holding the line. Chief Gephardt up in Fishers talks about it all the time, keeping Indianapolis' crime out. Well, we're surrounded by Indianapolis. We don't get to have another county. And so we're trying to keep it out as well, and they're doing it on a daily basis, like you said earlier. But so I look forward to your yes votes on this budget, and we'll push forward in 2026 as well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
All right, up next, I could call up Officer Tyler Frankel in the FOP 86 for any questions that you guys might have about the labor agreement or anything else that the union can answer for you this evening. Hello, sir.
Evening, council.
Evening.
First off, thanks again for having me up here and letting us speak to you and answer any questions. Like I said, it's a partnership between us and the city, and like I explained last council meeting, our officers want nothing more than to work for the city. We're doing everything we can to keep you guys safe and everyone else out there, and I think you see that, and I know you see us out and about. And I think this budget itself is, as Jeff Peters says, is fully funded. Our contract is through this year, and I know next year we'll start the contract negotiations with the city, and we want this to be a partnership. We've met with the mayor multiple times since January. He's gone over all the things that have been issues with this budget, and we've been working with the mayor on trying to make cuts where cuts can be made with the chief and other department heads. So we thank them for making the cuts to allow this contract to be fully funded and everything with the city. I know next year's going to be tough, and we want to work with you guys, but we need to be partners in this. And I've reached out to you multiple times. I know I sent an email to every one of you about 2 weeks ago, and I didn't get any responses. So I hope we can move forward from this and work together through the next contract. And I have FOP 86 President Rick Snyder here. I believe he'd like to say a few words. Do you guys have any questions as far as our contract is concerned?
No, sir.
Thank you.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Thank you for allowing me time to speak with you tonight. My name is Rick Snyder. I represent the Fraternal Order of Police, Lodge 86, inclusive of your Beech Grove police officers. And I just want to say first and foremost, I'm always impressed when I come to Beech Grove at the working collaboration that we often see between you as elected officials, the mayor, but also your police officers. Your officers are out here risking it all for all of you. I know that you know that, but I think it's important that we always start from there and what they're willing to put to risk. Tonight, we rise in support of this budget as proposed by the mayor. We're heartened by the fact that we've already heard from your financial advisor, but also confirmation that we have been able to find that this budget does fully fund the Beech Grove Police Department as proposed for calendar year 2026, and that it also shows that not only are all available funds there, but as we have learned tonight, that there's also this additional 8% increase in assessed value. So from what we have heard tonight, that would ensure that if passed as proposed, this would not only ensure that all the funds are there, but that this is also a balanced budget that still leaves you with the $2.5 million in cash reserves. I would say this to you, that it is our understanding that with that being the basis, that we should be fulfilling all the conditions of the current agreement with the Beech Grove police officers, and that we've been able to ensure and assure that the appropriate tax levies are in place, and that you will be receiving the appropriate revenue that's necessary to fund the operating and pension budgets for the police department. The question really just comes down to now if the Common Council will adopt a valid appropriation. I would suggest to you that it would be valid based on all the facts that are before us, that the money is there. We fully understand the concerns about 2027 and 2028. The short answer on all of that is I don't think you can find anybody that can tell you exactly what's going to happen then, but we do know exactly what's going to happen for you in 2026. And so typically when we're having discussions about whether or not budgets are going to be funded, it comes from a point where perhaps the dollars are not there, or we're going to have to take them from somewhere else to make that work. From everything I see here, that's not the case for Beech Grove. That's a hand clap to you guys as the fiduciary body for this community. And so my hope would be is that you would pass it as proposed, fully fund your police department, and put this to bed for 2026. We recognize that we'll be back at the table for 2027 and beyond. We look forward to those discussions. but I also look forward to you keeping your police officers here, well-funded, fulfilling your obligations to them as they're going to fulfill their obligations to the safety of this community. The final point that I would make is, as I see it right now, the provisions for the salary ordinance, there's no basis to reduce those for 2026. If something would change and you would find that there would be a basis for needing to reduce beyond what has already been previously agreed to, we would just like to ensure for the record that you would be notifying our FOP 86 of that, and then we would be fulfilling our portion of the agreement, which would ensure that an outside third-party agency be able to review your budget and be able to prove a financial hardship or crisis for the city. I trust you guys have already done a great job managing your financial resources, but if you would tell us that you don't believe that the money is there, we would look forward to digging into that and finding where that is. I would suggest to you ahead of time, in our initial research that we have completed, I not only think that your financial advisor is spot on, but I think beyond the $2.5 million that you'll have in reserves, I think we can find significantly more than that you already have in other funds that are eligible for police funding as well. But I don't think you really need to tap into those if we follow this budget as prescribed. But with that, I would stand for any questions and be happy to respond to anything that you may have.
Appreciate you explaining everything.
Yeah, absolutely. And look forward to your support, and thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Thank you everyone for speaking. If anyone has any other questions for the other department heads, they are all here this evening. I won't bring them all up unless there's any specific questions. Otherwise, we'll just get into the reading of the ordinances. Any questions for anybody else? If that's the case, then I will defer to the clerk treasurer to introduce General Ordinance Number 5, 2025, which is the 2026 salary ordinance on first reading only. I will defer to the clerk treasurer to read that into the record in its entirety this evening.
General Ordinance Number 5, 2025 is a salary ordinance fixing the biweekly rate for appointed and elected officials and employees for the city of Beech Grove, Indiana in the year 2026. Be it ordained by the Common Council for the city of Beech Grove, Indiana. Section 1, that from and after the first day of the year 2026, the biweekly rate for appointed and elected officials and employees of the city of Beech Grove be fixed as follows. Mayor's Office. Mayor, from corporation, biweekly $1,457.49, yearly $37,894.73. Mayor from sewage, biweekly $1,244.12, yearly $32,347.15. Mayor's assistant, biweekly $2,202.34, yearly $57,260.79. Clerk Treasurer's Office. Clerk Treasurer from corporation, biweekly $1,487.12, yearly $38,665.17. From sewage, $1,122.54, yearly $29,186.08. Administrative Assistant, HR Clerk, biweekly $2,075.21, yearly $53,955.52. Deputy Clerk Treasurer, biweekly $2,319.96, yearly $60,318.86. Billing Clerk from sewage, biweekly $2,245.12, yearly $58,373.19. Assistant Clerk part-time, up to $18.58 per hour, not to exceed 58 hours per biweekly pay, 29 hours per week. Board of Sanitation and Public Works and Safety. Board members, biweekly $115.91, yearly $3,013.78. Crossing guards, $25.89 per hour, not to exceed 58 hours per biweekly pay, 29 hours per week. City of Beech Grove Common Council, council members, $191.05, yearly $4,967.22. Department of Public Works, Motor Vehicle, Highway, and Sewage. Director of Public Works, biweekly $3,730.88, yearly $97,003. Billing Clerk, $2,245.12, yearly $58,373.19. Sewage Clerks part-time, up to $18.58 per hour, not to exceed 58 hours per biweekly pay, 29 hours per week. Public Works Secretary part-time, up to $18.58 per hour, not to exceed 58 hours per biweekly pay, 29 hours per week. Janitorial services, part-time, up to $18.58 per hour, not to exceed 58 hours per biweekly pay, 29 hours per week. Sanitary stormwater supervisor, biweekly, $2,693.05, yearly, $70,019.40. CDL license, full-time employees only, biweekly, an additional $96.15, yearly, $2,500. Sanitation and VH laborer, part-time, up to $20.60 per hour, not to exceed 58 hours per biweekly pay, 29 hours per week. Street commissioner, biweekly, $2,856.27, yearly, $74,263. Hazard pay for full-time employees only, biweekly, $57.69, yearly, $1,500. Mechanic, biweekly, $2,693.05, yearly, $70,019.40. Commercial driver, biweekly, $2,536.69, yearly, $65,954.03. Lead laborer, biweekly, $2,442.95, yearly, $63,560.79. Laborer, third year, biweekly, $2,325.82, yearly, $60,471.30. Laborer, second year, biweekly, $2,183.01, yearly, $56,758.15. Probationary laborer, first year, biweekly, $1,999.39, yearly, $51,984.10. Department of Parks and Recreation, Parks Director, biweekly, $3,244.10, yearly, $84,346.70. Parks General Staff, part-time, up to $18.58 per hour, not to exceed 58 hours per biweekly pay, 29 hours per week. Trail Monitor, up to $18.58 per hour, not to exceed 58 hours per biweekly pay, 29 hours per week. Hornet Park Community Center Director, $2,323.68 biweekly, yearly, $60,415.68. Facility Manager, biweekly, $1,828.01, yearly, $47,528.32. Program Manager, biweekly, $1,795.37, yearly, $46,679.60. Hornet Park General Staff, part-time, up to $18.58 per hour, not to exceed 58 hours per biweekly pay, 29 hours per week. Senior Citizen Center Director, biweekly, $2,331.60, yearly, $60,621.68. Transportation Administrative Coordinator, biweekly, $1,817.16, yearly, $47,246.10. General Staff, part-time, up to $18.58 per hour, not to exceed 58 hours per biweekly pay, 29 hours per week. CDL license, biweekly, an additional $96.15, yearly, $2,500. Beech Grove EMS Department Head, biweekly, $2,441.73, yearly, $63,485. EMS Position Pay Director, biweekly, $1,403.85, yearly, $36,500. Part-time Administration, $38.19 per hour. First year paramedic, biweekly, $3,060.30, yearly, $79,567. Second year paramedic, biweekly, $3,162.30, yearly, $82,219. Third year paramedic, $3,264.30, yearly, $84,872. First year EMT, biweekly, $2,582.50, yearly, $67,145. Second year EMT, biweekly, $2,647.70, yearly, $68,841. Third year EMT, biweekly, $2,693, yearly, $70,019. Part-time paramedic, $29.70 per hour. Part-time emergency medical tech, $22.28 per hour. State certified paramedic, full-time employees only, an additional $134.62 biweekly, $3,500 per year. State certified EMT, full-time employees only, additional $76.92 biweekly, $2,000 yearly. Police Department, first class patrolman, third year, biweekly, $3,388.96, yearly, $88,113. Patrolman second year, $3,187.23. Yearly, $82,868. Probationary patrolman first year, biweekly $2,956.32. Yearly, $76,864. Position pay, chief biweekly, $1,403.85. Yearly, $36,500. Deputy chief biweekly, $1,211.54. Yearly, $31,500. Deputy chief of operations biweekly, $1,211.54. Yearly, $31,500. Major supervisor biweekly, $1,115.38. Yearly, $29,000. Sergeant biweekly, $288.46. Yearly, $7,500. Lieutenant biweekly, $576.92. Yearly, $15,000. Captain, $865.38. Yearly, $22,500. Detective, $125. Yearly, $3,250. SRT member biweekly, $105.77. Yearly, $2,750. FTO instructor biweekly, $88.46. Yearly, $2,300. Bicycle biweekly, $38.46. Yearly, $1,000. Drone certification biweekly, $38.46. Yearly, $1,000. Position pay listed above is not calculated in the base salary. Patrolman first class, for pension base only, add $5,000 to $93,113. The base salary figure includes $3,500 pay for Indiana law enforcement graduates, which is required for employment. Police civilian general staff. Office manager biweekly, $2,282.60. Yearly, $59,347.57. Animal control officer biweekly, $2,479.92. Yearly, $64,478. Receptionist, $1,795.37 biweekly. Yearly, $46,679.60. Detective secretary part-time, up to $18.58 per hour, not to exceed 58 pays biweekly pay, 29 hours per week. PAO front lobby part-time, up to $18.58 per hour, not to exceed 58 hours per biweekly pay, 29 hours per week. Lobby police officer part-time, up to $26.27 per hour. IDAX coordinator full-time, $2,269.49 biweekly, $59,006.64 yearly. Compliance positions, up to $19.67 per hour, not to exceed 58 hours per biweekly pay, 29 hours per week. City court, judge biweekly, $2,609.61. Yearly, $67,849.86. Court clerk full-time, biweekly, $2,245.08. Yearly, $58,372.16. Court clerk part-time, up to $18.54 per hour, not to exceed 58 hours per biweekly pay, 29 hours per week. Court bailiff, minimum of 3 hours, time and a half for police officers, current pay rate yearly. Section 2, educative incentive pay, governed by Ordinance 3711, education incentive pay. Section 3, longevity benefit. Each full-time employee of the City of Beech Grove shall receive a longevity increment of $264 per year at the beginning of the following year after their hire with the City of Beech Grove as of January 1, 2026. This benefit only applies to employees' most current employment with the city. Employees that resign or leave employment with the city and return to employment with the city cannot receive this benefit based on past employment history. This benefit will be calculated from the most recent hire date. Elected officials are not eligible for this benefit. This benefit is only available to full-time employees. Section 4, clothing allotment pay. In 2026, each member of the police department shall receive a clothing allowance of $2,000 per year in 2 installments of $1,000 each. BGEMS shall receive a clothing allowance of $1,500 per year in 2 installments of $750 each. For each full-time employee of the Department of Public Works, they shall receive $1,250 per year with 2 installments of $625. The payment shall be made in the first payroll in June and December over 4. The city shall also pay for any clothing expenses identified in the collective bargaining agreements for the police department and BGEMS above the clothing allowance disbursement. Employees of the Department of Public Works are given clothing when needed as replacements. This allotment is for at-home maintenance and of distributed clothing. Civilian employees of the police department and other departments within the city are not eligible for this benefit. Probationary employees of the police department are not eligible for this benefit. Section 5, police department holiday pay. Officers who work any city recognized holiday shall have the option of being paid at the officer's overtime rate for each hour worked on that holiday, or receiving 8 hours of holiday hold time. Officers whose regularly scheduled day off falls on the holiday shall receive 8 hours of holiday hold time. Section 6, shift differential for police department. A shift differential of $1 per hour shall be paid for any hours worked by a member of the police department between 1,400 and 600 hours. An additional shift differential of 50 cents per hour shall be paid for any hours worked by a member of the department between 2,200 hours on Friday until 2,200 hours on Sunday. The policies concerning payment of shift differential may only be modified during the term of this agreement after written notice and consultation of the FOP. Section 7, holiday pay for BGEMS. The city shall maintain a holiday rate in accordance with the employee's FLSA halftime pay rate plus the employee's regular hourly rate for the final 17 hours of the shift, along with the first 7 hours of the shift. Section 8, commercial driver's license. Employees assigned to the Senior Center and Department of Public Works who are required to have a commercial driver's license shall be compensated $2,500 in 2026 for such certificate. The payment is added to the base salary of affected employees assigned to the Senior Center and the affected full-time members of the Department of Public Works who qualify. Section 9, wages and salaries. This ordinance number 5, 2025 supersedes any previous ordinance or employee handbooks written by the City of Beech Grove. The rates for wages shown in this ordinance number 5 are for positions listed and the maximum biweekly rates. The biweekly rates are subject to approval of the Department of Local Government and Finance for a levy and tax rate sufficient to fund them. This ordinance number 5, 2025 will take effect January 1st, 2026.
Thank you, Clerk Treasurer Stratton. It's a lot, thank you. It's on the record officially now. So, any questions or comments about that, counselors? No questions or comments? No? Okay. Entertain a motion to approve General Ordinance number 5, 2025 on first reading only, which is the 2026 salary ordinance.
I'll make said motion to approve.
Counselor Matkins, second. Counselor
Second
Preston,
motion.
thank you. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
No.
No.
Let's
Three,
go.
three.
We're gonna do
Yeah,
individual
voice
count,
vote,
okay?
please.
We're gonna go here. Start here, Counselor Duffer.
No.
No?
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Yes.
So it's 3-3, correct? All right, 3-3 makes it a tie, so I am the tiebreaker, so I vote yes. Thank you. This will be heard on second and final reading at our meeting on October 20th. Up next is General Ordinance number 6, 2025, which is the 2026 budget on first reading only. I will defer to the Clerk Treasurer to read that into the record.
Ordinance number 6. Be it ordained resolved by the City of Beech Grove that for the expenses of Beech Grove Civil City for the year ending December 31st, 2026, the sums herein specified are hereby appropriated and ordered set apart out of the several funds herein named and for the purposes herein specified, subject to the laws governing the same. Such sums herein appropriated shall be held to include all expenditures authorized to be made during the year unless otherwise expressly stipulated and provided for by law. In addition, the purposes of raising revenue to meet the necessary expenses of Beech Grove Civil City, the property tax levies and property tax rates as herein specified are included herein. Budget Form 4B for all funds must be completed and submitted in the manner prescribed by the Department of Local Government Finance. This ordinance shall be in full force and effect from and after its passage and approval by the City of Beech Grove. Name of adopting entity, City of Beech Grove. Name of adopting entity and fiscal body, Common Council and Mayor. Date of adoption, October 20th, 2025. Fund name, Rainy Day. Adopted budget, $0. Adopted tax levy, $0. Adopted tax rate, 0. Fund name, General, $12,413,939. Adopted tax levy, $8,110,000. Adopted tax rate, 1.1586. Public safety local income tax. Adopted budget, $2,728,691. Adopted tax levy, $0. Adopted tax rate, 0.0. Lease rental payment. Adopted budget, $1,077,000. Adopted tax levy, $1,037,000. Excuse me, $1,034,000. Adopted tax rate, 0.1477. Fire pension. Adopted budget, $40,000. Adopted tax levy, $0. Adopted tax rate, 0.0. Police pension. Adopted budget, $570,620. Adopted tax levy, $2,000. Adopted tax rate, 0.0003. Local road and street, adopted budget, $476,585. Adopted tax levy, $0. Adopted tax rate, 0.0. Motor vehicle highway, adopted budget, $1,592,345. Adopted tax levy, $1,016,000. Adopted tax rate, 0.1451. Continuing education, adopted budget, $20,000. Adopted tax levy, $0. Adopted tax rate, 0.0. Parks non-reverting capital, adopted budget, $10,000. Adopted tax levy, $0. Adopted tax rate, 0.0. For a total adopted budget of $18,929,180 with an adopted tax levy of $10,162,000 and the adopted tax rate of 1.4517. Home ruled funds which are not reviewed by the Department of Local Government Finance. Home Rule Fund Number 8, which is SROs, adopted budget, $495,240. Home Rule Fund Number 10, which is restricted opioid, $13,179. And Home Rule Fund Number 11, which is non-restricted opioid, is $3,225, with a total of home ruled funds, $511,644.
Thank you, Clerk Treasurer Stratton. So, general ordinance number 6, 2025, which is the 2026 budget and tax rate, is up for first reading this evening. Any questions or comments? No questions or comments. Entertain a motion to approve general ordinance number 6, 2025 on first reading only this evening.
I'll make said motion to approve general ordinance number 6.
Councilor Mackins?
I second.
Councilor President, thank you. We'll start with a voice vote, starting with Councilor Duffer.
No.
No.
Yes. No.
Yes.
Yes.
That is a 3-3 vote, which means I am the tiebreaker, so I vote yes. And the budget is approved on first reading only by a vote of 4-3. Thank you, councilors. This will be heard on second and final reading on October 20th, 2025. That's all the new business this evening. I will
would like to
have
make a
council
motion
comments.
I'd like to make a motion to add something to new business.
That's all that we have on the agenda tonight, sir. What would you like to add?
Discussion of the Park Bridge.
Okay. Is that part of your council comments?
No.
Okay. So okay.
And I second that.
Right.
I'd like to see it on there
Well,
too.
what would you just have a discussion on it? We can talk about it.
We got an ordinance.
We have an ordinance number 7 for it, to
Okay.
reopen it.
Okay. Well, I'll defer to Craig Wiley on that.
I mean, the council can, under our rules of procedure, first off, the mayor controls the agenda of the meeting. If the council wants to hear an ordinance, it's gotta be done by a simple vote. So we could start there first.
Okay. Have you advertised this ordinance anywhere or alerted the public that we were voting on this evening?
Only you and I.
Okay. Typically, what we do with new business is we post it so the community and the residents can see that and they can review that agenda item. But if
You
that's
wanna-
something,
You wanna post it and then do it next month?
that's fine. We can defer it to next month if you like.
Well, my question on it would be, is they closed this bridge without informing anybody. And, I don't think they had the legal responsibility to do so. That would fall on the council. And so he opened it up. I seconded it. I think we need to vote.
I've actually asked for it to be put on the agenda.
Right.
So have I.
Yeah, so we can discuss it, but like I said, I think it's been determined that it is not the role of the legislative body.
But
And by
Ms.
ordinance, it needs to be turned into the clerk treasurer 3 days before the meeting, so it can
Well,
be
first of
properly
all, it
public
shouldn't have never been
advertised.
closed. That's number one.
That's debatable
So,
by law.
and typically in the past, this is a budget workshop, and that's what we've been focused on the last 2 months. If the council is focused on a bridge in the park, and that's on the council, that's something that I have not been focused on. We've had discussions about it. I think the public enjoys that it's closed. Anybody that uses the park enjoys that it's closed. I know the Parks Director, Tom Hannon, can speak on that. He's been here for 39 years or so. So if anybody would know, it'd be him, right? And I'm not sure, has anybody reached out to Tom Hannon to discuss this?
Can we just get it on the next agenda, Mayor, please?
It's fine. We can add it in for next month's agenda.
All right, thank you.
Okay.
Council comments. Councilor Duffer.
No comment?
No comment.
Councilor
I,
Mackey.
I appreciate everybody coming out. I do appreciate all the hard work all the department heads have done, EMS, 416 FOP, Chief Maurice, and also Clerk Treasurer Samantha and the mayor. You know, we had a lot of money to try and come down to so that we could fund this, and you know, we are looking at a really rough road ahead. We all know that, but if something doesn't change, I don't believe that anything that we are looking at right here was really going to do too much. So let's all pray for the future, and you know, if nothing good comes of future sessions, then everybody out here just understand it's going to hit all of us, not just one of us, every one of us. So you know, reach out to all the delegates and senators and everybody, and try to make your voice heard so we can get something taken care of. Thank you.
Councilor Hummer.
Ditto on Ryan and Mr.
Yes.
Matkins there, but also too, in our packet was this proclamation, protection of pregnancy. Was you gonna read that in today, or?
I can if you like. I read that into the record on Saturday for the Walk to
okay.
Remember event. That takes place. This is our 40th year that it's happened with Franciscan Health. So it's a pretty impressive event. The schools open up their doors here at Central. They have a few hundred families who have either lost infants by way of miscarriage, stillbirth, or infant loss. And these families come out, and it's a pretty moving ceremony, and I'm honored that they choose the city of Beech Grove to have this ceremony each year. So yeah, it's online.
I just know if you're gonna read it into
Yeah.
the record here on the meeting though.
So I'm sorry, you want me to? I
No,
can.
no, I didn't know. If you
Yeah.
was gonna do it
on the record.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I can. But yeah, it was there. I did that to the few hundred people there. It's a neat event. And this is
Oh, yeah,
our
I seen it there
40th.
Saturday.
Yeah, this is their 40th annual Walk to Remember that they hold here in the city of Beech Grove, and this year they dedicated a tree over there by the shelters in remembrance of all the babies that have been lost. So it's pretty neat. But thank you for that. Pretty neat. Anything else, Councilor Hammergard? No, Councilor Price?
Nope, I'm good.
Nope. Councilor Ernest?
You're good?
Yes.
Okay. I was asked by a couple of constituents just to bring up that this month is Breast Cancer Awareness, and I know that this disease affects a lot of Beech Grove citizens that have had to fight through it. I'd also like to recognize the Beech Grove citizens who celebrate Italian Heritage Month. That is this month. And then I'd also like to thank the council. There's been a lot of talks, a lot of emails, a lot of digging on this budget, and a lot of communication. I've actually been told by people who have been around a lot longer than me that this is the most action the council has taken on a budget, and I'd really like to thank everybody who made the cuts to get to that 600,000. Thank you to our officers, our EMS clerk, and the mayor for all your work on it. We appreciate it. I would just like to just take one more second and say that at no time was there any talks from this council about defunding the police or cutting the police or whatever. We're charged with the financial responsibility on behalf of our constituents. And, you know, saying that some of the council members don't like police, I know for me personally, I take that a little personal just because my uncle, who was one of my role models, he was the chief of police for Southport. And when I see a police officer, I see my uncle, and he was a great officer. I've actually had family members that have not talked to me more because of how bad I defend the police the last couple of years. So I just, you know, that kind of talk, I just think that it didn't add anything to this. And I know that next year there's going to have to be some cuts, and there's going to be some tough talks. But, you know, we are funded, which is why I voted yes, and hope we can just move on from that. So thank you, everybody.
Thank you for that. I do have a few comments real quick. Music on Main was last weekend. It was a huge success, so thank you to the sponsors and volunteers for that event. It's been a busy few weeks here on Main Street, and it's fun and exciting to see all the things and events happening on our Main Street. I know Chief Maurice mentioned earlier about the Bill Toney event that took place $120,000 raised for bullet-resistant windshields for the entire fleet. So thank you to them. Thank you to the Dee, the Tony family, and all those that helped with that event.
What was the goal on that, Mayor?
Over 100.
That
So
was the
their
goal?
goal was $100,000, so they far exceeded that. So
Cool.
it was a great tribute to the legacy that Officer Tony left behind. So well done to all those who were involved in that, and thank you. And lastly, leaf season. It starts soon, so stay tuned. DPW will be out with this service here in the next 2 weeks or so. So the leaves are going to start falling if they haven't already. So stay tuned for that. We'll post some stuff on social media for those watching at home. I know they're ready to start raking those leaves to the curb for DPW to grab those. So thank you to DPW for their hard work and dedication. Our next council meeting is Monday, October 20th. Motion to adjourn.
I'll make some motion.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Meeting is adjourned at 8:06. Thank you.
Very good.